In today's video, we're getting the platinum for Astro's Playroom. Before we get into it, I'd like to mention Astro's Playroom is a 2 out of 10, takes 1 playthrough, and is a total of 5 hours to complete. The game also has a total of 43 trophies. If you don't know what Astro's Playroom is, it's kind of like a tutorial for the PS5 showing off its features. It turns out it's also an easy game to platinum, and I had a lot of fun platinum it, but not as much fun as I had in the bedroom with your mom last night.
Not the cap.
And I'm running out of games to plat. Starting out the game, we ended up spawning in the CPU plaza, and once I got my first puzzle piece, I got a trophy for it. And then right here, the game made me blow into my controller to open up these leaves. Once I entered the cave, I pulled on these strings and a gold chest came out, and once it opened, I got a trophy for getting my first artifact. And then I got another trophy for defeating 3 enemies super fast. And at the start of the next level, I ended up pulling on this string and a monkey costume came out, and I had to rub my controller.
Oh, hell no, man.
To activate the costume. Once I activated the costume, I ended up climbing the wall even faster than a squirrel. What did you think I was gonna say? Nothing really too crazy happened in the next level. I just got into a mini boss fight. And then going into the last area of this level, I ended up getting 4 puzzle pieces, which got me a trophy. And then I ended up getting 3 more trophies, 1 for shooting a bunny with the bow, and then 2 more for finishing the level and getting all the artifacts. Once I got back from that level, it brought me back to PlayStation Home. And then I ran over to the claw machine, which got me a trophy for using it for the first time. And then we went into the next level, which was beach themed. Now would be a good time to mention that 0% of you are actually subscribed to my channel. But come on, just subscribe, please. It's free and it motivates me to make more videos. And then I ended up jumping off this diving board, and once I hit the water, I got a trophy. And surprisingly, this trophy is the same name as the game I'm gonna plat very soon. And then the entire theme of the next level was complete opposite of the first one. And then I ended up getting a trophy for doing 3 spin attacks while on the ice. And then a few seconds later, I got another trophy for making a massive snowball. And then the next level was probably the worst part of this entire game.
That's what I'm saying.
And then I ended up getting a trophy for bouncing this ball on my head 5 times. And then I can say with confidence, I struggled on that trophy more than Ninja struggled when Fortnite went down for 2 days. But once I got the trophy, I wasn't quite as happy as he was once the new season came out. And then for this next trophy, I ended up jumping into a waterfall because I like jumping into wet things, and it gave me a trophy. And then I ended up finishing the level, giving me 2 more trophies, 1 for getting all the artifacts and the second one for clearing the level. Once I got back to the plaza, I ended up getting an army of 20 people to do whatever I want without pay. I think we've seen this somewhere before. What the But then that ended up giving me a trophy. Then I turned off the PlayStation because it was getting late. Then we ended up going into Meadow. And while I was minding my own business, just playing the level, a pop can came out of nowhere and just smacked me in the head. Immediately after that happened, I ended up getting a trophy. And then I ended up hiding from the sunlight because, you know, I'm a gamer, I don't get that. And that ended up giving me a trophy. And then going into this next level, I ended up turning into a ball, which meant I had to edge my controller even more. I'm not even kidding, I had to swipe up and down on my touchpad to move this thing. And then a little later, I found these bowling pins and I ran them down, and it ended up giving me a trophy. And then I ended up getting thrown around more than your girlfriend does around the street. And then I ended up finishing the level, which made me super happy, but it still wasn't enough to cure the depression I got from making YouTube videos. By the way, this is just the start, so don't worry. Then I ended up finishing the level, giving me a trophy for fully completing it. Then we ended up going into SSD Speedway. This level is by far the most annoying out of all of them, just because this one slingshot right here. Like, I would have made this landing, except I ended up hitting that fat ass and it knocked me off the edge and I had to redo it. After countless attempts of me missing and also raging, I finally ended up making it. Going to the next level, nothing too crazy happened except we unlocked the spaceship ability. And then the next level, I ended up getting a minigun, and I held down square while jumping, and I got a trophy for doing a spin attack. And then I ended up running through all these enemies without even trying. And then going into this last level, I ended up getting into a mini boss fight. Once I finally beat the boss fight after dying a few times, I ended up getting a trophy for completing the area. And then for this trophy, I ended up going back to spawn and hitting 10 bots at once. I accidentally turned off notifications, but I did end up getting the trophy. I'm not even gonna lie, I ended up doing this for like 20 minutes just for me to find out I actually did end up getting it. Now that I beat the game, I have to go back and get any of the trophies I ended up missing or some of the collectibles I ended up missing. Before we get to that, I'd just like to say subscribe to the channel because we're gonna have a special dropping once I hit 5k subs. I'm not gonna say too much, but during this special, I'm gonna be plotting a game I'm honestly pretty embarrassed to play. So make sure to subscribe if you want to see that. So to start it off, I went to the worst place, SSD Speedway. Oh, I hit him, bro! All I did here was go to the spaceship level and got an artifact, and it gave me a trophy. And then there was one super obvious puzzle piece that I somehow missed, and once I grabbed it, it gave me a trophy. And then I went back to Meadow, and this cloud started blowing harder than your girlfriend did yesterday.
That's what I'm saying. Stop the cap.
While I was in Memory Meadows, I ended up finding the last artifact that I need, and it gave me a trophy. And then I ended up going back to the level where you play as a balsa, and I ended up getting the puzzle piece here, and it was the most obvious one as well, and I have no clue how I missed it. And then I ended up going back to Cooling Springs to get the last puzzle piece I needed, and it was super obvious, and once I got it, it gave me a trophy. I don't know how I missed these puzzle pieces, but now that I'm looking back, it's actually making me mad. And then I went back to the PlayStation Hub, and as I was running to the gacha machine, I accidentally got a trophy for opening this. And then I ran straight over to the PS2, and I got a trophy for hitting the logo on it. And then I ran up to the PSVR and hit it to turn it on, then I looked into the lens, getting me another trophy. Man, I'd love to make more content on my VR, but it actually broke. Don't worry, it's getting repaired at PlayStation right now, so I should have it again soon. Anyways, I jumped on his controller and stood on his tip. And then that got me a trophy. Immediately after that, I ran over to this PlayStation logo and started punching it, and it gave me another trophy. And then I went back to the level where you get the bow, and I ended up reflecting a bullet that the guy shoots at you, and it gave me a trophy. And then I ended up going back to the level where you become a monkey. In order to get this trophy, you have to fall 100 meters, then catch yourself as the monkey. I ended up filling this like 5 times until I eventually got it. And then I went back to the claw machine to feed my gambling addiction. I somehow burnt through all 3K of the money that I had to get these rewards. After sitting on the gacha machine for a while just opening these gifts, I ended up getting a trophy for it. And while I was still opening them, I ended up getting another trophy called For the Players, and it was just a hidden artifact inside of the game. And then after I spent all my money, it still wasn't enough for my gambling addiction, so I went to go get more coins. Before I went to go get more coins, I grabbed the platinum trophy in PS Home, and it actually gave me another trophy. I then spent all the coins I earned on the gacha machine, and it gave me a trophy for getting every single artifact in the game. Once I got out of the gacha machine, I walked through this home symbol, and it gave me another trophy. I then went to the basement of the CPU plaza, and I saw this giant box with the PlayStation logos on it. And then it put me in a little black room with this parkour course I had to beat, and I couldn't even make a simple jump, and I ended up dying.
Oh my god!
I then finally made it to the boss fight, and I had to fight a super big dinosaur. It might sound like an easy boss fight, but I actually ended up dying a few times. Once I finally beat the dinosaur, I thought it was done, and then turns out there's a second stage to it. And this one was even harder because it breathed fire. On top of that, it shot missiles out of its mouth and lasers out of its eyes. And it wasn't like he was slowly shooting them. This motherfucker was shooting them full auto. What the? And then I ended up killing him by grabbing his tongue and pulling it out of his mouth. And there's nothing better than defeating a boss and immediately getting hit with a credit screen.
Stop the cap.
I don't know why games do this, but it's really stupid. And then after that, I walked on a bridge and I pulled this lever and I got another artifact. And I'm pretty sure this is the headset that ended up dropping 3 years later. And then the very next artifact ended up being the PS camera. And then the last 2 artifacts ended up being the PS5 controller and the PS5 itself. And then I went straight back to the gacha machine, got the final puzzle, and it gave me a trophy. And then I ended up opening the last 2 gachas, which gave me another trophy leading on to the platinum. That's gonna be all for Astro's Playroom. I just want to say real quick, I streamed a pretty big chunk of this game over at twitch.tv/snowy_man. Please make sure to go follow if you want to see me live. And once again, if you enjoyed the content, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel to see more videos in the future. That's gonna be all for today's video. Thank you for watching, and make sure to have a great day.